By the end of this year, you'll be able to earn PP on your main profile while playing in lazer. At least that's the goal of this new Path to Lazer ranked play thing. So I sat down with Peppy.
Do you want microphone away or?
To talk about this legitimately cool direction for the game's development.
The most common question we get is when can we actually set scores, get PP? We're at a point in Lazer's development cycle where everything is feeling pretty good. So we're looking at focusing specifically on getting Lazer in a state that we're happy to have scores get pushed to the persistent leaderboards.
When someone asks when is Lazer being released, this is what they're talking about. This is big, and it was revealed as part of a community meeting just a few days ago.
What I wanted to say to all the devs is that I think we're a pretty competent dev team, but we also get distracted. The goal here is to have everyone on the dev team invest at least 50% of their time on only things in the list required to get scoring done.
And along with this shift in developer priorities, OS players are also providing essential feedback for this big push, as directed by some trusted community members like Bubbleman.
The role I've been given is to take the high-level community's opinions on board, bring the insight to the developers, and steer the direction of the future of the game, as well as to make sure that the quality of life is up to par so that when the new client's adopted, older players aren't scared away by how different everything is.
So okay, things are changing, but what exactly needs to change before ranked plays in lazer?
What is left to get to ranked play? So we've split things down into 3 different categories. Infra is infrastructure. It's everything to do with making sure that the server side is ready to go.
What this means is after you play a map, score info is sent to the OS servers, where replays are stored, PP is processed, profile stats increase, medals are awarded, and so on. All of that, done on a scale efficient enough to handle hundreds of thousands of plays per day, is part of Lazer's upcoming infrastructure. Okay, let's move on to game balance. So some of these issues are pretty straightforward. For example, the classic mod is supposed to feel exactly like stable gameplay. So in today's update, this animation inconsistency was fixed. The classic mod even includes stable features that people generally don't like, such as note lock. And in this update, note lock was modified to cover some very niche cases that existed in stable. So okay, no one's going to complain about these changes. Things start to get controversial though when it comes to intentionally different mechanics in lazer.
Change is hard when people are involved. A lot of the changes we made in Lazer were aiming to make the game better in quotation marks, but better isn't always what the community wants. Part of this push for ranking is that a lot of these places where we think we've made Lazer better, we're just going back to the way we know people are used to. That's kind of what we have to do in order to make fast forward progress.
For example, Flashlight in Lazer previously had this fade when clicking on sliders. People complained that this made the mod easier to read in some cases.
Flashlight in general feels a little bit different. Maybe it's placebo?
So it's been changed back to this snappy dim like stable. Or here's a better example. If you enable double time or half time, the hit window changes. But in stable, on Mania maps exclusively, the hit window would not change.
And that was just because people coming in from other vertically scrolling rhythm games expect hit windows to work in a certain way, and I believe we did it to match that. So we're going to match it again. We break this parity across all rule sets. We were trying to make the mechanics the same on everything, but hey, it is what it is. And this is one of those balance changes where we've set it back to how stable works just because that's what people are used to.
Not every game balance issue can be resolved by just matching stable. Tasks here have a few different phases, and some of the most complex issues still need discussion. This is where people like Bubbleman come in, who are gathering opinions from the community to help guide development. Anyway, one more category.
Yeah, so UX, these are the kind of things which we don't have to get done, but if we do get them done, it's going to make the initial user experience coming across from stable a lot nicer. The big one for this release is the difficulty sort at song select, the #1 request for song select in Lazer. Previously, Lazer wasn't able to split up beatmap sets, so it was always using the highest star rating of any difficulty in a set, but I basically found a way to do this easily without rewriting the whole song select. It's a bit weird because you still need to select, like there's still a header card for each difficulty, but there is already a design to fix that.
So over the next few months, this is what Lazer developers will be focused on. We'll check its progress again next update, but for now, we have a bit more changelog to talk about. So let's do that, starting with some time travel back to COE. Do you have any changes in this changelog?
Well, I'm disappointed that there isn't my change in there.
Can you talk about it so we can put this in next release?
It's part of the change to reduce the number of draw calls that we're making. Each draw call is reducing frame rate just a little bit further, and this is one step of the process to get that down to 0, or well, 1 draw call for the entire game.
Short version, better performance.
Yeah, better performance.
As developers, we know we have a lot of remaining optimizations that can be done. Like, the worst part as a dev is optimizing as much as you can and not having anything left to optimize and having to like micro-optimize or change the whole game structure. That's not a problem we have. We know what we need to do, and it's just a matter of finding the time and getting them in.
Apparently, Smoogie received a lot of feedback about Mania while at COE, some of which was tackled in this release. First, there was a performance boost for maps with lots of bar lines, and second, a complete change to the hold off mod. And you can see what's different for yourself.
If you want, guys, I also have feedback from COE tournament players. One of the big feedback I got is the ability to hide leaderboards in multiplayer.
That's in there. That's actually been merged for solo play now. You can hide it using tab again.
Okay, that's good.
An essential part of Lazer's path towards ranked play is, the plays, so conveniently this update allows you to download replays.
We actually have replays stored for most of the laser plays from the last year. I don't know how long they'll stay around, but you can now download them.
Also, when you eventually port your full maps library from stable to laser, you'll appreciate that sorting by date added will now sort your maps according to the date they were added in stable. History preserved, or something like that, yay. See how quickly I opened Spectator View? This would have been impossible in the last release.
But it decreases the startup time for Spectator from like 10 seconds down to 0 seconds. It's how it was supposed to be.
Okay, there's one more change I want to touch on, probably, no, definitively the biggest change in this update.